or President Putin coming to India. Both crucial visits considering the fact that there's a lot of churning that's happening in geopolitics. And of course, as we know, Trump has been threatening India with tariffs. But remember, India has made it clear that we will not compromise. This message has come from the Prime Minister himself today after Donald Trump declined to punish India for buying oil from Russia. Remember, yesterday, Donald Trump, through an executive order, had decided to impose additional 25% tariff on India, making it a total of 50%, which is the highest in the world. Essentially, 25% tariff kicks in from today, and it will become 50% from the 27th of August, as the additional levy will now come into effect after 21 days. The Ministry of External Affairs has termed this as unfair, unjustified, and unreasonable. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made it clear today that India will never compromise with the interests of its farmers, its fishermen. He said he knows he will have to pay a price personally, but he's ready for that. Take a look at what the Prime Minister had said.
भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा। और मैं जानता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं। मेरे देश के किसानों के लिए, मेरे देश के मछुआरों के लिए, मेरे देश के पशुपालकों के लिए आज भारत तैयार है। किसानों की आय बढ़ाना, खेती पर खर्च कम करना, आय के नए स्रोत बनाना, इन लक्ष्यों पर हम लगातार काम कर रहे हैं। साथियों, हमारी सरकार ने किसानों की ताकत को देश की प्रगति का आधार माना है। इसलिए बीते वर्षों में जो नीतियां बनी, उनमें सिर्फ मदद नहीं थी, किसानों में भरोसा बढ़ाने का प्रयास भी था।
Now, these additional tariffs mean burden for the Indian exporters. India, remember, exported goods worth $86.5 billion to United States last year. The sectors that are expected to face the heat include textiles and garments, gems and jewelry, leather and footwear, marine products, chemical goods, machinery and electrical equipment. The question that begs now is is why is India being singled out when there are other countries too that are buying oil and other goods from Russia? For example, China, and that has been talked about a lot. China buys oil from Russia as well as Iran. U.S. President Donald Trump was asked this question. He said, it's only been 8 hours. Let's see what happens. You're going to see a lot more. Basically, he warned of secondary sanctions as well. Listen in.
Let me go, please.
Indian officials have said that there are other countries that are buying Russian oil.
It's okay.
Like China, for instance,
it's
buys
okay.
more.
Yeah.
Why are you singling India out for these additional sanctions?
It's only been 8 hours, so let's see what happens over the next.
Sanctions.
You're going to see a lot more.
So this is a taste of
You're going to see a lot more. You're going to see so much secondary sanctions.
So remember, Donald Trump has celebrated day one of the reciprocal tariffs by saying that billions of dollars are now flowing into the United States of America with the imposition of reciprocal tariffs. But the question is, what next for India? What should India be doing? Indian exporters are worried. They want India to intervene urgently as they fear job losses. And therefore, let's tell you the impact on Indian exporters who say that this is a severe setback, impose a cost burden. This is what they're saying, that these kind of tariffs, they impose a cost burden on us. And they also say that this will impact MSME-led sectors. Remember, medium and small enterprises will be certainly affected by the kind of tariffs that are coming in from the United States of America. Direct impact on 55% of shipments is also being talked about, as is 30 to 35% competitive disadvantage which Indian exporters will now feel with these American tariffs. Export orders being put on hold is what they're saying here in India. Obviously, this is, the immediate impact that will happen on Indian exporters. And they're saying that this is not viable to absorb cost escalation. And, these are some of the concerns that are there of Indian exporters as far as the tariffs are concerned. Now, remember, this additional tariff was announced even as the negotiations between New Delhi and Washington are continuing for a bilateral trade agreement. We have details of India's strategy ahead. Top sources have told Times Now that India has made it clear that we will not succumb to such theatrics by the U.S. president. Also saying that the visit of the negotiation team is not on hold. Remember, after these additional tariffs were announced, there was speculation that perhaps the teams that are negotiating with each other on the bilateral trade agreement might not meet each other anytime soon. But that has been clarified that those negotiations will still go ahead. Also saying this is a pressure tactic ahead of the negotiation, something, that has been reiterated time and again, that this is Donald Trump who's trying to put pressure on India because he knows that negotiations and back-channel talks are going on, and therefore this is just a tactic that he is employing to make sure that he gets his way around with India. But the government of India clarifying and, standing firm on its stance that we will not budge as far as our certain crucial sectors are concerned, because we don't want our farmers as well as dairy entrepreneurs to be affected by this. Let me quickly go across to my colleague Pragya, who is joining us with more on this. Pragya, the government has made it clear that we will not budge from our stand. There are certain things that are non-negotiable, and we are not going to change them just because Donald Trump wants our markets to be open to America. That's not going to happen. But as far as the negotiations are concerned, where have they reached? Because now we know those will not be halted. They will still be going on. One of the reasons why Donald Trump has been using such pressure tactics on India.
Well, the government of India believes that these are the pressure tactics by U.S. President Donald Trump, and in fact, there is also a negotiation team that is supposed to come, in fact, by the end of the August, and in fact, 25 of August is when the team would be coming. And government of India says that the tour is still on; it is not on hold. In fact, government of India is also asking U.S. as an India, where is India violating local rules? Nowhere. In fact, India buys through international traders, not directly from Russian state entities. And in fact, it stays below the cap of G7 countries and uses legit shipping and insurance and follows all the global rules, in fact. And who all are also buying. EU still imports Russian crude oil through various pipelines to Hungary, Slovakia. Japan got an exemption till 2026. So why this criteria only for India for buying Russian oil? So these are some pretty questions that government of India will be asking the negotiators also. But government of India is also looking at options that can be given to US, that can be put on table for negotiation. And in fact, government of India is willing to buy anything from the US that they want. They cannot open their agriculture sector, fisheries sector, and also GM, as far as GM crops are concerned. India has put its foot down when it comes to all these three sectors and said that these are non-negotiable. We cannot negotiate on that. You can have all the tariffs, you want. And in fact, Prime Minister himself in the morning today have made it very clear that these sectors are not be touched at all during the day. So
absolutely, Pragya. And the Prime Minister, in fact, while making this statement, also said that despite the fact that he knows that he will have to pay the price personally, he still will choose to go ahead with what India's stance has been. Pragya, thanks very much for joining us at the moment, getting us those details. With that, viewers, it's time for a short break. We will keep getting you more details of the Trump tariffs and other updates from across the world on the other side.